Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to Super League Raw Weekly. We hope you are well. Good evening, Greg. Are you well?
Good evening. I'm very well, sir. Are you?
Yes, very good. Very good indeed. A couple of shout outs early doors as always. Steph Searle is with us, Andy in the house. Paul Sanderson, the dethroned Ryan Birch. Oh, yes, we'll come back to that a bit later on. Alex Sharp is with us as well. Good evening to Uncle Freddie. Darren Paul Jones is watching as well, and many more. Get involved in the chat. As always, plenty to discuss this evening, of course. Starting with the big news, of course, Greg, straight off the bat, there looks like a TV deal is in the offing.
Yeah, some positives, which hopefully will come to fruition. I don't know what's been heard and what's official, but all games to be shown live next season is one of the stories that's going around, with video ref at every game. And moving towards a 14-team Super League over the next 3 years, which is something we've been talking about for
many a year
since we started. Yeah,
absolutely. So, opportunity for Cumbria, maybe.
Well, maybe this is the time that we create a Cumbria team.
Yeah. Was it Steve-O in the press this week saying, because of the state of the professional game in Cumbria, it's probably now, unlike back in '96, now is the time for a Cumbrian side.
Yeah. And I think, reading Mike Gregg's autobiography a few years ago, he said that one of the biggest mistakes they made wasn't having an actual Cumbrian team in the first Super League. So, yeah, if it's going to happen, and that doesn't mean to say Whitehaven and Workington and Barrow have to fall by the wayside. Just create a strong presence in Barrow, which can only be good for the game. We've done it in France. Barrow's Cumbria's a heartland of the sport. Let's get it done.
Absolutely.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk, Alex, there talking about the structure of it. 3 games one weekend, 3 the next. That's impossible. It can't happen because the season will be far too long. I think there's a lot of rumor coming out in terms of what it would look like. It's got to be the NRL model, hasn't it? 1 Thursday night, 1 Friday night, 2 on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday. Unless they do a Monday nighter, because again, the NRL always sometimes do one on a Monday, but I would expect it's going to be Thursday, Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday.
I would have thought so. And has there been any kind of clear up as Channel 4's involvement in this year?
They will continue. Yeah, they will. Good. They will continue. So there will be a free to air element of this, and I think that in terms of the game's consistency, we've been crying out for a long time that the video ref needs to be at every game, and maybe now that with this, the Captain's Challenge could come into Super League because we'll have the technology to do it.
Well, yeah, Captain's Challenge, I'd much prefer, if I'm being honest, to see an end to the no try by the referee when he goes to video ref. I'd like to see an end to 6 again. It was okay immediately post COVID to cut down on the number of scrum situations, etc. But it's not really serving. It's outserved its purpose in the 6 again. But get rid of the no try when the ref goes to video screen. Let the video ref decide. Now we've got a video ref at every game, and then why not? Let's have Captain's Challenge.
I think so. Again, tapped into a couple of clubs today. Obviously, won't betray anybody's trust in that respect. But coming out of a few clubs that I've got, that I've got knowledge of, the clubs are delighted. There's a lot of talk in terms of potentially £1 million less going into the clubs.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's the only negative that I've heard. That it's a
however, the clubs don't appear to be too concerned about that. They're seeing this as a real opportunity to expand the sport. The fact that every game now is going to be live. The only caveat to that would be, what's that going to do in terms of attendances? If every game is live on Sky, you'd hope not, because as we've seen again this weekend, some brilliant games over the course of the weekend. There's nothing like being there. But will it affect attendances?
If it's a big if, it shouldn't do if match day is treated right. If we have double headers, if we have the women's game on before the men's game, if we do, I'm not talking about having some toddler in a car whiz across the pitch, but if we have promotions, on food and drink, get in
Well,
before a
that's
certain
critical.
time.
Yeah, that's critical. I mean, it's quite interesting actually today because we, took the kids out today, as you do in the summer holidays. As you know, Greg, this was lastminute.com. But anyway, and I do apologise in advance. There is no trailer for Game of the Week, but it will be on Game of the Week when that comes around later in the week. Because
sometimes family's more important.
Family, mate. Yeah, exactly. I invest a lot of time into this, as you know, on my own time. So. I've put a bit of time into the kids. It's a summer holiday, and we went out today. We went to a restaurant. Won't mention the restaurant. Nice restaurant, and it was interesting because they did a 2-for-1 today. The 2-for-1 was normally priced on the menu at 18 quid, and it was 2-for-1. So that shows a markup in that restaurant, and it's the same in rugby league. There's a markup on pints. There's a markup on pies. I'm absolutely with you on this. Get the women's games on before the men's games and make the food and not necessarily the food, but certainly the beer. Make the beer half price, which means that then you bring people into the ground to watch the games.
If you employ somebody with a good marketing brain at your rugby league club, they can make this work. Simply on the fact that every game is now going to be live. So you bring the sponsorship deals in, you improve your brand. We were all about branding in the early days of Super League. That's why we all adopted names. It's all about the branding. Warrington were really good at this about 5 or 6 years ago. When they rebranded, they asked the fans what they wanted. Other clubs have done that. I think it's time for Super League clubs to go to the fans and to ask them what they want from their club and to work with the fans.
I think the clubs are getting.
I'm not saying they're not. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But this is a huge opportunity now to engage with fans again. We're kind of 28, nearly 30 years into Super League. I think now's the time for them to re-engage with fans and to discuss the product so far, what they'd like to see. I think they should include the fans a hell of a lot more than they do.
Yeah. Well, Alex Sharp is saying that he's saying that Leeds do that. Beer is half price. You get him before 6. Beer is half price while the women play, or the reserves, or the academy.
Well, that's brilliant. And that should be
exactly the way to do it. Yeah,
I didn't get half price pints on Sunday.
Well, he's about being in the know. You should have spoke to Alex.
I was waving off.
He was waving profusely. Yeah, waving profusely.
I was very upset.
Absolutely. We'll come to that a bit later. But no, I mean, what I'm hoping here, though, as well, is if they are going to expand to 14 teams, what we don't want here, and I think this will be a real negative, certainly in the short term. I mean, long term, it depends on, if you want to have a presence in the capital and places like, elsewhere in the country or another team in France or whatever it may be, I think you've got to build the sport up to be able to attract supporters into those stadia. So you've got to, it's one of those, isn't it? The first thing that I've always said is look at what you do well.
Yeah.
Invest in what you do well, and it'll grow from there. Start from within, and the within is, unfortunately, and this isn't being like short and narrow-minded. It's the M62 corridor. That's where it is, and you've got to expand it from there. So what I wouldn't want them to do with those 2 extra teams is to do another North Wales thing or another London thing or whatever it may be. I think Cumbria, we know in Cumbria there is, fans of rugby league who would come out and get involved. We know that.
Yeah.
I think there's probably an opportunity. If I was looking at other parts of the UK, I think there is an opportunity in and around maybe the York area. I think there's an opportunity around there. Maybe.
Well, you'd think that York Knights would be in the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. And again,
go on.
Sorry, Dave. I agree. I think people forget we survived as a sport for 100 years.
Yeah.
Before the Sky investment, which was needed at the time. Nobody can doubt that.
No.
And I'm with you. I think we consolidate what we're good at. We consolidate our heartland. We continue to expand. We're doing well in Newcastle. We are doing well in London. A lot of schools play rugby league in London.
Yeah.
Use the Magic Weekend, if that's to continue as a concept, to spread the game. And as I've said,
we've got to do it with marketing, mate. You've got to do it with marketing, haven't you?
Yeah, and as I've said before, kind of, when I went to Newcastle, why didn't each Super League club adopt a primary school or a secondary school? Go into that school, talk about the town where they come from, talk about rugby league, free kits and free tickets for all those pupils to go in and go to the game, support, well, it's Wigan, Warrington, Leeds, whoever, they support that team for that day. And you never know with their parents, and you never know, you might just get 4 or 5 students out of however many who want to play rugby league.
But they
If
do,
you
I
do
mean,
that
yeah,
year on year, that's where we get the ball rolling.
But they do. I mean, again, they do that. We know that Warren do that with the Wolfpack, don't they? I mean, it cost me 80 quid. I mean, I'm going anyway.
Well,
But,
no, I'm not. We do it in our own towns.
Yeah,
now, I'm sure.
You mean, yeah. You mean,
I mean,
on the
in
periphery.
Newcastle or where Magic Weekend is based.
Yeah.
The rugby league clubs adopt a school, whether that's a primary or a secondary school, it doesn't matter. And they go in there and they talk about the town they come from. They talk about the history of it, the links they might have. They give free kits to every single pupil. They give them free tickets to them and another parent, or discounted tickets for parents. You up the numbers of people in the actual stadium at any one time. And B, as I say, you might just get a couple of kids who think, you know what, I like this. Do rugby league sessions with them.
Yeah. I think the thing here as well, Matt. I mean, it's interesting actually. There's a comment here from Dave Jones. Good evening, Dave. 2 Workington fans at the Leigh Sports Village watching Leigh on Saturday. 2 Workington fans, and as it's great. But again, it just shows that appetite up in Cumbria, doesn't it? That happened. I think for me, I think the thing as well here, mate, for me in terms of where we currently sit with this, I think it's absolutely essential now that the Cumbria bit is hit, because that for me, one of those places for me, they need to go. And the other thing that I think, with the risk of having a bit of a loving once again to our Leopards fans. What Derek Beaumont, love or hate Derek Beaumont, he's everywhere. He's everywhere. He's on Sky Sports News. He's on every podcast known to man. And you can have your views on Derek Beaumont. You can have your views on Leopard Print. What he is doing is he is flying the flag, not only for the Leigh Leopards, but for our sport. That's what he's doing. And I think that,
I agree 100%.
Warrington have done that at times. I mean, you always talk about Dizzy, but it gets attention. It gets attention. We've seen Wolfie at times getting attention. Bradford Bulls early in there, early in Super League, there was a bit of a razzmatazz around Bradford Bulls. But, and here's the challenge, I think you've got the likes of St. Helens and Wigan and Leeds, because of their support base, they do a bit. But for me, they don't go beyond their borders. That's my view. And shoot me down, Saints.
We could be 100% wrong on this.
Shoot me down. Shoot me down. Warrington have dipped the toe and continue to dip the toe on a bit of marketing that gets attention everywhere. Leigh this year, I've done it like the backsides have been on fire. Derek Beaumont and Leigh have blitzed Sky Sports News. And what we actually need. And again, Joel, I don't know if Joel's on, but I know Uncle Freddie's on. Huddersfield. What's Huddersfield doing? I mean, what's Huddersfield doing that Leigh, look what Leigh's done. Why can't Huddersfield do that? Why can't Castleford do that? I mean, I've seen Castleford improving the social media. I'll give them the due on that. Why can't Wakefield do that? And I think what we need is 12, 14 teams that have got the fan base, but not just got the fan base, are going to go out there and blow, to quote Michael Caine, blow the doors off. Yeah,
it's a case of having the right business acumen now. We've finally got to a stage after nearly 30 years where we're on a par, if you like, with Australia, in that every game is now going to be shown live, whether that's by Sky or a mixture of Sky and Channel 4.
Yeah,
we have now.
Yeah,
do you know what? We've got to grow up as a sport. And we've got to accept that we have to do certain things that might not have been in our nature as a sport over the last 120 odd years.
And do you know what I'd love to do as well?
The business acumen of the day and drive that forward.
Do you know what I'd love to do as well? A bit of fun when I say this, a bit of tongue in cheek as I say this. Yeah. But for me, there should be a swear jar on national TV, especially on Super League programs, that if a member of the presenting team talk our sport down, then they pay a fine that goes to a charity like Rugby League Cares. Because we need to start promoting our game. We cannot afford to keep talking it down and presenting ourselves as a northern sport. We've got to be bigger than that. We've got to start really banging the drum, because what we all know is, and we've seen this time and time again. It was a lovely, I mean, obviously the passing of Michael Parkinson has been well documented this week. And there was a clip shown about what Parkinson said about rugby league.
Yeah.
Which I felt was fantastic.
I saw that.
And that encapsulates our sport. That when people watch our game, when people are brought to rugby league, and the footballers, you've seen the footballers do this over the year, the Stuart Pearces, the Roy Keanes, the Wayne Rooney's, Ryan Giggses, and there's more besides that. Yeah. When other sportsmen come into it, they stay and they watch it and they become a part of it as a fan. And the man on the street is exactly the same. When they come and they sample our sport, they will stick around. And that's what it's all about.
I agree 100%. And I'm getting bored of. That's why I enjoy Channel 4's coverage so much. It's Channel 4 celebrate rugby league. The motto is "We love rugby league." Sky are constantly focusing on the negative. Constantly. I mean, John Wilkin. Oh my God! Please stop him from commentating on rugby league games, because all he wants to do is highlight the negative. He doesn't even talk sense half the time.
Well, I'm going to get a bit of a balance there, mate, because you're not personally getting pelters. You're just getting a couple of pelters for the free ticket idea. Because do you know what I sort of get? There's a couple in the chat saying they don't work, and today, I won free tickets today to take my kids to go and watch Zog at the Lowry, and it was quite interesting. We got there, and there was a sheet of paper with all the names of the people who had won these tickets, and about 3/4 of them had not been ticked, and we arrived with 5 minutes to go before the show started. So I sort of get that, but let's take your idea a bit further.
Okay. Why? I'm not saying that idea would work, by the way. No. I'm just saying let's try it.
But here's one for you.
Go on.
Why don't you put on a bus? Because I'm thinking of me as a kid. I love rugby league now. Why do I love rugby league? Because I was introduced to it as a kid. I played it as a kid, and I've stuck around for it. So playing is big. It is a big part of it. The love of the sport, how it works. It's a simple game, and it's addictive. Get a bus, bring the kids. So, for example, if you are, I'm trying to think of a good example here now. If you are, say, Salford. Salford's a good shout. I mean, look at Salford in terms of a market area, Manchester, to attract people to Salford. Work your way around the schools, get a bus on, bring them to the training session in their PE kits. Let them watch professional rugby league players do their thing for half an hour in terms of training, then a little talk, then maybe a little snack, and then on the field with the players. That, for me, would, especially the kids, it would be like eyes wide open. They go home and tell Dad, I've been to Salford Red Devils today. I met a man called Brodie Croft, and before they come to the training session, send a video like we do, best tries of the week and all that. Send a video of Salford Red Devils try of the week, introducing Brodie Croft, showing him a bit of Brodie Croft skill, bit of Mark Sneed skill. So when they get there, that's that guy who scored that try, and this, that, the other. So they're already excited when they get there. They're only excited when they get there. They then have a training session. They then go home to mum and dad with the promotional material for what would be like their version of our Wolfpack at Warrington, 80 quid a season for a season ticket. Little Charlie and little Johnny and little Eric are saying, I want to go, I want to watch Brodie on Saturday. And all of a sudden now, because you've got the kids completely into it, because they've been with it, they're new heroes. They won't know them from Adam at that point, but they've had such a big taste of it that they want more, and they'll drag mum and dad to the game, and away we go from there. Just an idea. I don't know.
Well, we're in an unenviable position with rugby league because the players are at a stage where they're still approachable. They're not these kind of Hollywood superstars that grace our football grounds. They're approachable. You can, they will stop and chat outside the ground. They'll sign autographs. They'll pose for photographs there. A friend of ours got him into rugby a few years ago. He might be watching, I don't know. Couldn't believe how accessible the players are. And how you can sit down and you can chat with.
Absolutely.
You can chat with somebody who's just lifted the Challenge Cup the week before and have a chat with them have your picture taken with him. And they said it was such a different world from football. And it's
And again,
an unenviable position that we're in, that these players, they are superstars in the sport, but the mentality is that they're not superstars, and we need to tap into that. And you're right, we all have every rugby league club has a community drive and gets involved in the community. And I think that's the aspect that needs to be driven forward over the next few years to build that fan base.
Couldn't agree with you more, mate.
I'm sure I'll get pelters for that as well.
No. I think, look, it's a great opportunity. I mean, for me, every Super League game live, it's like Christmas Day, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest, Santa's been out today, ladies and gentlemen. He's put a right little present under your tree, hasn't he? Good man, the man in red. But yeah, more will come out over the coming days. Yeah. By the time we get here next week, but we had to have a little chat around that.
Of course we did. It's massive news. Massive news.
But as always, sir, it's now time to get into a little bit of action. We've only got so long to partay on a Tuesday night, haven't we? So yes, that's what we're going to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, I think is it time for Tries of the Week? Yeah, I think it's time for Tries of the Week.
Absolutely.
Tries of the Week. Let's go and do it. Yeah, here they come.
Seize the day.
There you go. There's the tries of the week. And I know that there's going to be a few people out there saying, where was the James Bentley try? I know you're out there. I know. Brilliant offload by Mr. McDonald, I have to say. A thing of absolute beauty. For those of you who have been on our page today, you will have known we've done. Did he just do that? It was that good an offload. So we've given that a little bit more credibility and credence over the course of the last 24 hours. So do not shoot me.
Yeah.
Lovely. I mean, this season, I think some of the support play we've witnessed this season has been sensational.
Yeah. Some of the I agree. I'm trying to think back to last season.
I can't remember them being as good.
There's been some great tries. There's not been as much. I mean, I'm sure people will correct me, but I think we've seen most, if not all, tries scored this season in Super League. Yeah. There's not been a lot of the hooker darting over from the play the ball. There's not been a lot of that.
We've seen forwards score some beautiful tries.
I mean, the Tolomoni one. I mean, that was like a knife through butter. Beautiful. My personal favourite, call me biased, was Matty Ashton's. Yeah. And the best try that wasn't scored of the week was a similar move that Walker dropped. If only Ratchford had passed it to Ashton, it could have been.
It'd have been game over, mate. I'd picked that one.
It cost us really at the end of the day, but
Yeah, Barry Williams in the chat. Good evening, Barry, our Wakefield Trinity man. Great to see Andrew Fafita run out for the amateur. It was actually, wasn't it? That was a nice touch.
It was.
Fair play, nice touch by Mr.
Fair
Fafita.
play. Yeah,
absolutely. But no, some really good trash. You're right. You probably are a little bit bad, but yeah, it was a lovely. I mean, Dufty, Dufty got a lot of flack for his positional play against Catalan, but quite frankly, he was outstanding.
He was a fingertip away from stealing a last gasp victory. I might have given it to Luke Hooley, but the pass was that forward. He caught it in Bradford. But you never know. Let's not go there.
Well, okay, right. Well, let's not be bitter.
Let's
that just wouldn't be right, would it? Would not be right. Right. Let's carry on a bit of momentum, sir. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, 5,767 members.
Fantastic.
Now. Facebook page. Well done to all of you guys. Don't forget, we're on YouTube as well. There's a bit of a difference between that and our YouTube followers. Come on, you get on YouTube as well. That's where you've got all of the videos that we do, all of these shows. So if you don't catch up, rather than having to scroll on Facebook, you can go onto YouTube. It's all playlisted there. Far quicker to get into. Super League Raw on YouTube. Go and subscribe today. All the In the Sheds have now been posted for round number 22.
And how good are they? How good are In the Sheds? I love watching.
Exactly. It's a bit of
love
fun,
watching. It's brilliant.
Brilliant. Bit of fun, right? As we said at the start of the show, Ryan Birch, look away now. Oh, he's been dancing and giggling all season, getting himself, into his tailors, getting all of his measurements so that his new shirt fits him. There goes Reggie Allen, right in. Oh, with only weeks to go,
Reggie Allen, stop the season now.
Indeed. And what we are going to say is this: from this point on, only Reggie's Rockets count for Reggie Allen. I'm sorry, Reggie, you can't have 2 goals in it. Not happening, sir. So because you are now top with Reggie's Rockets, and there's very little, as you can see there, between you and Ryan especially. Chaddy's Wires not a million miles back there.
No.
Lionel Lee as well. So, there's a few there. So I'm sorry, Mr. Allen. The only team that you are now allowed to have is Reggie's Rockets. That's it. And Ryan Birch,
and that's only because you named them after me, mate. That's only
absolutely
because
yes, exactly, yes. But yeah, there he is, Reggie Allen. Good effort, sir. Well done. And just for those people who care, a little team called Dave's Wolves was the high score on the week.
Well
not
done.
That I'm going to be challenging anybody anytime soon, but
I think he should have all his points deducted.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That just for fun, mate. Just for fun. Right. It's now time to take the top performers for round number 22. Here they come, the top performers for round number 22. Top performance for round number 22. Some new badges in that one. Good evening to Nicola Burton Ward. Good to have you with us. David Allison, John Whiteley is in the house as well. Alan Clegg is with us. Oh God, they're all coming in now. Some new faces: Leah Clegg, Jill Shaw. Good evening, one and all. Keep getting involved in the chats. Right, let's get into some action. Let's get into some highlights. Starting with the big one at the bottom of the table: Castleford Tigers taking on the Wakefield Trinity. It wasn't a classic. Quite frankly, some of the rugby league was quite poor, but Castleford come out on top.
Yeah, I think I called a Wakefield win for this one, didn't I? I was disappointed in Wakefield, I must admit. But I think I think Blake Austin actually injected something into Castleford.
Did you? I thought he had a
Yeah.
poor game, mate.
No, I just thought he did not without doing anything spectacular. I just thought him and Widdett were quite good together.
Widdett, that was probably his best game of the season. That and
I think because probably maybe having Austin there freed him up a little.
Maybe he was Widdett. To be fair, I still think he's suspect under the high ball in defence, but in terms of his goal forward, very, very good indeed. And you know we bask over Greg Eden. Greg Eden has got to be. He's got to be. In terms of finishing ratios,
he's lethal. He's lethal.
He is, mate. He's frightening. Absolutely frightening.
He gets the ball, he scores. And Joe Westerman was phenomenal.
I've got Stephen Massey here saying he thinks everyone called a Wakey win. I didn't. I said Castleford. I said Castleford by 1-8 last
You
week.
did.
I did. I called it. I had a feeling. I had a feeling. They did well. Jowett there. We actually highlighted him in Game of the Week as the one, for me personally, the one to watch. And he had
I think Max Jowett's a great player.
He's quality, mate.
You know, as I said last week, I think the loser of this will be relegated. And I think, I apologise, Wakey fans, but I mean that this guy's a beast. But I think the writing's on the wall for Wakefield now, unfortunately.
They need 2 wins. They need 2 wins in the last 5. That is a tall order, I think. But what we know about them is they have turned over some big teams this season.
Yeah.
So why not? In terms of this was a good one that's just come in now. Alex is quite right again, but it's balmy, isn't it? They never seem to leave on the highlight reels contentious decisions by referees. Josh Griffin's first try. Let's have a chat about that. One of the most nonsensical decisions I've ever seen.
Pause it.
Go on for it.
I'm glad we're talking about this because this is I meant to mention it earlier on. I forgot. This rule that encroaching in the 10 is an automatic penalty is ridiculous unless you are actually involved in the play.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's been a contentious rule for quite a long time. Yeah. If you are not interfering with play, if you deliberately stop and do not carry on, which I think is what happened from memory.
Well, if you remember, mate, he went through the line and he was actually stuck behind the try line. At no point does he attempt to actually play the ball. Just prior to Josh Griffin grounding the ball, he takes one step, not run. He takes one walking step towards the ball, and he says he's now made a play for the ball. It was the most
he hasn't.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's wrong, and the rule is wrong. Yeah. It should only be players in front of the kicker who actually affect play.
Yeah. But we've had it this season. I can't remember what game it was, where, again, there was a kick. We saw it, Warrington Wigan. I think it was the O'Neill try, where he was very quick to say...
that was what I was trying to think of before.
It's nonsensical, mate. Nonsensical. Yeah. But, quite frankly, it was appalling. I mean, not that I think it changed the game too much. Of course, Wakey went on. Griffin scored not long after that. But we've got to be better than that.
When we were talking earlier about this is rugby league's chance, the RFL's chance to really market the game and make it a game worth watching. That is one of the rules that needs to change. As far as I'm concerned.
The other thing, mate, we only see the games we watch, and we only see the games that are on TV. The fact that everyone will be on TV, the standard of refereeing has to improve, because every single that was a lovely finish by Eden. They're going to have to improve, because every week it's going to be highlighted. We're talking about decisions that are on the TV. Every fan who's watching this, regardless of their team, could probably tell you time and time again how many times they've had their head in their hands over some contentious decisions. This was the hammer blow for me. The back-to-back tries just before half time that Eden scored. Hammer blow.
Yeah. They needed to keep them out, didn't they? They needed to. Yeah. Is that Jared Samet there behind City behind?
He was indeed. Mr. Samet was there. Yeah. Good eye, sir. Good eye.
Yes, I think Wakefield's heads went down at that point, and I don't think they fully recovered.
That was a hammer blow
from those 2 tries just before half time.
Yeah, hammer blow, mate. Absolute hammer blow.
a team that needs to win games has got to fight back from setbacks like that.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
look at that.
I mean, we've seen it with Warrington this year. They go behind and the heads go down.
Yeah. Wallace there, mate. I mean, he's been a find, Danny, this season. Wallace, he's had a great year. He's got to be said. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was for me, this was a poor game. However, I say it was in terms of the quality, it was a poor game, but as a neutral, I was totally invested in it. It was fascinating to watch.
It was, because there was a point kind of midway through the first half where it could genuinely have gone either way, where Wakefield, if they'd have capitalised, I don't know whether the heads went down when that try was disallowed a little bit. But I mean, Castleford kind of, took control early second half, didn't they? Yeah,
I mean, Tisapali, I mean, you've just seen him there off the back of that last try, and of course he scored his try. 3 Albert Goldthorpe points. Nah. And do you know Widdop? Widdop didn't even get one.
I know.
I mean, nobody's been more damning of Gareth Widdop this season than me. But I have to say,
I think I might have been, to be honest. But it would be absolute fitting justice if the winner of the Albert Goldthorpe this year just turned and said, you know what, you're all right, lads. Forget it.
It's just I don't get it. I don't.
You may as well give him a pet cat, because he's had more influence on the game than I have.
Yeah. I mean, I think Griffin in defeat probably for me had a more impressive game.
Griffin was superb.
I thought Griffin played like he had a point to prove, mate, and he played well. I mean, I'm not saying for 1 minute Tisapali didn't have a good game, but I do think that Widdop had to be in contention. I mean, he'd got a point having scored a hat trick. Westerman got 2.
Westerman was. I thought he had a great game, Joel Westerman.
Yeah,
I really did.
He's involved, and he's a proper modern day loose forward, isn't he?
He's got back to what I think at this late stage the form he was in last year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some Cast fans may disagree with me, but I think Westerman has got over his early season indiscretions and is back to form.
Yeah, well, Alex Sharp here saying Will Dagger, 18th man, Barmy. I'll tell you what was also Barmy, Proctor at loose forward and Pitts on the bench, not Pitts, Liam Kay on the bench. Yeah. Kay has been in, he's missed his passion for that shirt. Again, didn't get that. So I agree. I do agree with Alex. I think, Will Dagger, very unlucky. Dagger, just prior to Gale coming back in, was playing some really good, solid rugby league. And he was a big part of why they were winning games.
Will Dagger was always a hotspot. I've got trouble, get my teeth fixed. A hot prospect at Warrington, and I was surprised he let him go. But, there were some strange decisions made as per the team for Wakey, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just getting involved in the chat here, mate. Alex Sharp back in saying that there's rumours that if Wakey go down, Lino is a rumour at Leeds. I'm telling you now, and I mean, Gary Everington's come out today and he's had to defend his position in terms of the out. A lot of players leaving Leeds at the end of the season. Only one confirmed in Gudemon for next year. He's come out and asked for calming the fans. I have to say, Alex, I don't think Mason Lino, based on the last 2 seasons' form, he turns up every now and again, but this is Leeds Rhinos. And I don't think that Mason Lino is a Leeds Rhinos player. I really don't. And if you're buying the likes of Mason Lino, for me, I'm sorry to say this, that isn't a top 2 team in Super League signing, which is traditionally where Leeds have seen themselves grand finalists. I don't see him as an improvement on what you've already had in season. And Austin, that's just me. I mean,
Lino a couple of years ago was superb.
Yeah, but not last couple.
To be honest, how true the rumour is that Lachlan Miller from the Knights is going to Rhinos next season.
Yeah, so
that might scupper that deal.
But there's 2, because don't forget they're losing Caesar and they're losing.
I would think that if Featherstone get promoted, like Lino's more likely to go to Featherstone maybe than Leeds. I might be 100% wrong.
You could be. You could be. I mean, and obviously they keep talking about Jack Sinfield, don't they? In terms of the long term, in the same way Warrington do with Leon Hayes. Leon Hayes, by the way, what a cutout ball that was for the reserves at the weekend.
Leon Hayes should have played for the first team.
Mate, he's got to be mate. He's got to be knocking on the door. There's no doubt about it.
We've got to play him or lose him.
Joel, look away now. What a whimpering way for the Huddersfield Giants to bow out of 2023. They've been on the crest of a wave. You know, we give Ian Watson Coach of the Month in July, long before Super League.
Did he ground that though? I'm not sure about that one.
Actually, no, did we? Yeah, we did. He was the only one to win it, wasn't he? Every game in Super League. But this, again, was calamity. From Huddersfield. I mean, Joel and I think Uncle Freddie said, you know, McQueen had a decent game, but apart from, I mean, this is Ryan Brierley at his best and Croft. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I was loving Uncle Freddie's updates on Facebook. I must admit. Where did this come from? I think I pinged the Giants. I've done dreadful this week in predictions. I must have done, because I got Giants down to win this. I was convinced.
We all did, mate. Mate, we all did, because the form that they were in. I mean, you know, and quite frankly, they were well. I mean, it's that spine, isn't it? You know,
just pause a second, mate.
Go on.
And you know, I have nothing but utmost respect for Huddersfield, but this is another thing that has to be addressed over the next 2-3 years: the crowds at games and the stadiums that they played in. You know, we need to start building those crowds. We need to start building the numbers in the stadium, and that is by no means a dig at Huddersfield or any other team. I think teams across the whole of Super League have got to work out ways of getting bums on seats. If every single game is now going to be shown on TV,
football stadium, mate, is not.
No,
for Super
and
League.
I asked this question, I think, first 2 weeks, week 1 or week 2. Whether the fans of Hull and Huddersfield would prefer their own purpose-built stadiums for rugby league, and I think the overwhelming answer was yes. And I think we need to look at that now. And again, I'm not being disrespectful to anybody in any way, shape, or form, but if every single game is now going to be shown on TV, like we've been asking for so long, we need to have those grounds full,
100%.
or as full as we can get them. And it's difficult with it being summer, with it being summer holidays. I understand that 100%. And, you know, the Halliwell Jones hasn't been full for quite, you know, for a lot of games over the last 4 or 5 years, especially during COVID, before anybody says it. But we now need to start. That is one area. But that's one area now where we need.
Yeah, but I think what you have to remember, mate, is I think this year there's been a big improvement in attendances right across the sport. So,
not disagreeing with you, but it has to carry on, and we have to keep
absolutely.
I'm sorry, I might get pelters for that, but I don't apologise for that one. There is nothing worse than seeing an empty stadium on TV.
Stoney Air going in for his first of 2.
Yeah. So I might get pelters, but
you might. But I think
that is where we need. That is where the marketing of rugby league needs to kick in now. And put bums on seats.
Speaking of bums on seats, it's all gone quiet. This weekend, of course, Huddersfield take on Leeds. This was the big one, trying to go for the record attendance. I'd love to know, Joel and Freddie, how many tickets you've sold. Was it something like 15,000 they were trying to sell early in the season for this one? It's all gone very quiet. So what's the current estimate?
Now I was being respectful.
No, but we said at the time, didn't we? Nonsense. You know. I mean, that was proper sprinting before you even walk in. That, I mean, God, you've just been born and you've been put a nappy on, and you're trying to be a fully grown, you know, married person with 2 kids. I mean, it's just not going to happen overnight, is it? That's just not going to happen. But yeah, they're trying, but we're nowhere near. Come on, Joel, give us a number. Give us a number, Joel. One number. How many tickets?
Don't be nasty. Don't be nasty.
Oh, he's in there. He's playing the game. How many has he sold? I mean,
nothing. I tell you what, nothing will give me more pleasure.
Nothing will give me greater pleasure, mate,
than seeing that stadium almost full.
What a great season!
The time I saw that stadium full, and this is going back a long way, was for the John Player Cup final.
Just Wigan v Warrington. Joel. Go on,
a
Joel.
long
I'll take
time
that.
ago.
I'll take that number, Joel. Give us that number then. Right,
Go on.
go on, mate. Sorry.
No, it
he's,
was
he's putting back to me.
quite a long time ago. 94, 95 for John Player, a Regal Trophy final, Warrington v Wigan, and it was full. And admittedly, it was three quarters full of Wigan fans. That I think that is the only time I've ever seen that stadium full, apart from a rugby league international.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And there's another one of them going there in October, which will be nice to see. Just going back to this one as well. Chris Atkin, what a see! I mean, just go back and see his try again. You know, Chris Atkin. You know, we talk loads of plaudits go to the likes of Briley, to Crofty, rightly so, to Sneed, etc. But this season, every time he's been called upon, Chris Atkin has delivered for Salford, no doubt about that, and I'm really pleased to see him on the end of this try for Salford on Friday night. Cracking.
Yeah, well, we spoke a lot about him last season. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a solid player, solid, and I was going to say solid and unspectacular, but that would be doing him a disservice, because he can produce things like this, and he's got a turn of pace on him. Yeah. I think he's a good player. I really do. Really like him.
Superb support play. Right. Albert Goldthorpe in this, and there's, and that, that Huddersfield are back in trouble when you start seeing that from good old Jakey boy. But Sneed 3 for this one, Callum Watkins 2, and Ollie Russell in defeat, getting 1 Albert Goldthorpe point in this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I can't argue I didn't see the game, so that's one that I can't kind of comment on.
Sure, Joel will give us his due. Right, this one. Twice now, Wigan have got not quite a last minute this. I think it was 78, 79 minutes gone when Wardle goes over. Remember Craven Park early in the season when Miskey went in right at the death, and they got a golden point win there. They've done it again here on Friday. That's 4 points. And
again, pause there, Dave.
Go on, mate. And you're telling me to pause a lot here tonight. Go on, mate. We'll be here till Christmas, folks. Go on.
I don't get out much. Again, when people might think of have a go at Huddersfield, but look at the Wigan Stadium, lots of empty seats. That's got to. We're talking about, for argument's sake, the biggest team in rugby league, and has gaps on the terraces.
They fill it twice a year if Saints go. Yeah, but they fill it twice a year if Saints go, don't they? That's what they do. That's what they do. They fill it.
This is what I'm talking about. That stadium should not be empty like that.
No, and nobody. I don't think anybody, mate, would disagree with that. And and equally, it's not helped that yet again they're playing Hull on a Friday night.
But Skyro's going to do that because it guarantees bums on armchairs watching on the TV rather than going to the game.
So Joel's saying that at the moment they've got 3,000 extra ticket sales. So on that basis, Joel, I'm going to guesstimate you're probably around the 8,000 mark. Let me know if you're right or you're wrong, which would be a big improvement at Huddersfield without question. Lovely this from Swift.
That's great.
Swift. Yeah, Joel, that'll make you smile. Yeah, Joel. Joel and Uncle Freddie at Huddersfield. This one's for you. Watch what you're getting next year. Adam Swift is on an 8-game try-scoring run. 8 games. Incredible form. Adam Swift.
I was surprised when Saints let him go, to be honest.
Yeah,
but they at that point they did have the fastest man in Super League in Regan Grace. But but I like Adam Swift. I think he's a great. I think he's a great winger, a solid winger that knows where the try line is.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Couldn't agree more. There's Bradley.
Is that Jay Field?
That's right. Yeah, a bit of a nightmare. Albeit Field in general had a decent game. Thought Toby took that one well.
Yeah. I think he got lost and didn't know where he was and fell over. But
oh dear Lord! But again, we saw.
Joking aside, a great.
That's the Tumavari one, which got him into trouble. Wasn't good on the eye. If you missed it first time, folks, here it comes again. Our Carlos, I like Carlos, sorry, but heavy this one. Yeah, let's have a take a look. I mean, you could argue he falls on his back, maybe, but it's a bad one. But again, defensively, all Hull KR need to do is see out that game at Craven Park. Wigan going with Miskey in the last seconds. This one again, it's there for the taking for Hull FC. And, you've just Wigan just aren't going away. The Wigan, they can win ugly or they can win with flair. I mean, that there, I'm not quite sure who it was who fell off that tackle. Who is that?
Have a look.
Is it Scotty? Oh no, it's Truman.
Yeah, it's Jake Truman. Yeah,
yeah. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. 78 minutes into a game, you've got to defend better than that. Harry Smith
again.
Anything all night, and then he pops over the winning field goal.
This season, give him a barn door and a ball from 5 yards, he'd miss it,
mate. And yet he can slot over a 1 pointer like he does in this one. There goes Fielder. Yeah, there goes Fielder. Yeah. Look at that. Away he goes. I mean, that's just.
That's just poor defense as well.
Yeah. I mean, that was a high. Well. It could have been given as a high shot there. They got away with one there, Adam Swift. To be fair, you know, that could have easily have been called for their poor from Favell. You don't see Favell do that often, do you?
No, but he got away with it again, though.
They did, yeah, they did. But I mean, again, very, very unFavell like that. But I think Marshall's had a good season again. 19 tries now for the season, Liam Marshall.
And he did well there, being tackled by Farrell.
There you go. Again, not the best effort in the world, is it?
No. He missed two. Did he miss two?
I think he did miss two.
He missed
and then,
two
of course, it's mad, isn't it? And then he slots this one over. And you're just like, dearie me, one of the hardest chances that he has. And he slots it over.
And let's not forget Hull missed one as well, I think.
He did, yeah, but here it comes. Boom. I mean, that's a 40 plus yarder. Get in there, Harry Smith. I mean, come the end of the season, massive game coming up on Saturday, Wigan Catalan. We know that. And, these are the games that if Wigan go and beat Catalan, that's a tall order the way Catalan are playing. But that will still leave them 2 points behind. If somehow Wigan got level and maybe won the Shield on points difference, those two games against the two, KR and against FC, vital games.
Yeah, and against Warrington as well, to be honest, because they were very, very lucky to win that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the Halliwell Jones.
Mate, they've won. I say there's just something about Wigan this year. They're just getting over the line, and Mago had a great game in this one.
Well, to be honest, I think I tipped Wigan to finish top.
I did. I do think Catalan,
and I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Well, maybe not. I mean, interesting in this one, Jake Wardle got three Albert Goldthorpe points.
Really?
Yeah, which again didn't quite get that. 2 for Clifford, 1 for Kai Pearce-Paul in this one. Odd decision to give Wardle 3, I have to say. But there you go. That's in the record books, as they say. Right, we'll move on.
They know better than we do.
We'll move on to the champ. Great effort, this. From Saints again, going about the business well. They're just going through. Again, champion team. They're just going about the business. They're getting the wins, and that's all they're doing, really.
And they're getting the wins with the big guns missing, which is
but that could hurt
for the rest of the Super League.
That could bite come the latter end when they're in the playoffs. But you're absolutely right. At the
moment, unless they get some of the big guns back.
Well, it's no Party and Wormsley gone for the season, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think LMS was missing from this.
Yeah. No, I think he was back, wasn't he? I thought LMS was back for this one. I think.
Was he?
I think so. I'm not 100%, but I think so.
Oh, I can't remember. I've slept since then.
But no, I mean, look, they're going through the business well. Makinson, again, nice little brace. Percival on his game, as always. James Bell, again, at loose forward. They put Knowles in at prop again, and he was absolutely, I think he only got some 40-odd metres as prop. Right? It's like, let's find a place for Morgan Knowles. It's like, But James Bell played at loose forward, and he was, for me personally, and again, he got the 3 Albert Goldthorpe, and actually, based on what I saw, I have to say, didn't surprise me that James Bell came away with all 3.
I think we're going to have a restrictive order put on us with Morgan Knowles as we carry on, but I just don't see it myself. He's a decent rugby league player. He's playing for the champions, as Sky call them consistently. He's playing for Saints. He's obviously a decent player, but he's not the best loose forward in the comp by a million miles.
No. Did you see
that?
That
was shocking. That was a shocker.
I put it on in the sheds. Mikey Lewis is not a fullback. I'm sorry, he's not a fullback. And you'd have been better off playing Ethan Ryan at fullback. Ryan is a far more natural fullback than Mikey
Yeah,
Lewis will
I
ever
agree
be.
100%, mate. Yeah.
You know, it's all about getting Lewis into the side. I think next year, it wouldn't surprise me. It depends on who they bring in. Well, of course, they brought in Tyrone May, haven't they? So
Yeah.
I've got a sneaky suspicion that if Parcell does, because I think he said he's going to go around one more time, or he might retire. He's not sure. He still hasn't announced, has he, Parcell? I don't think. Wouldn't surprise me if he's earmarked for a hooking job.
But then they got Jez Litton as well.
Yeah, but if Parcell's out, you need the two, don't you?
True. But
So
if Parcell decides to stay on,
well, then there's an head scratching moment. But for me, he's not. In a million years, he is not a fullback. I mean, Steph Searley's saying that Lewis will leave, and actually, there's a lot of rumour that he's off to FC. Mikey Lewis, and a lot of rumour. The rest
that
of
would be again. Just pause for a minute. Anecdote time. That would be as controversial as Paul Cook's move. Who?
Yeah.
When I was covering the Leeds Warrington women's game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And Paul Cook came along chatting away. He was doing some media stuff, and he stood right in front of the right hand corner at Headingley. He stood right at my viewpoint. My eldest is right winger, and he stood there. And I thought he'll move in a minute, and then he didn't. And I just tapped him on the back and I said, "Paul, I don't care how big or hard you are, but if you block my view of my daughter scoring a try, you're in big trouble." And when I got out of hospital yesterday morning, nobody went, "Oh, mate, I'm really sorry. I lost myself there." And fair play to me, apologised and moved on. And she didn't score, but you know.
Yeah, there you go.
I could say if it had carried on standing there, she'd have scored the try of the game, but.
Joel's saying that he's been asked if he'd go to FC, and he said no. I mean, what we know about Mikey Lewis is, you know, he absolutely loves KR. But at the moment, for whatever reason, I think Mikey Lewis on his day in attacking transitions, his box office, it's like they're trying to find a place for him at the moment. And
that is the problem. You know, that is a problem for a lot of teams. They are trying to find. Yeah, maybe it's like Warrington with Ratchford. I don't know. They're trying to find places for players instead of playing a balanced side and then maybe bringing that player off the bench.
Spot on, mate. Couldn't agree with you more.
And it's not. That's not just a problem in rugby league. It's a problem in any sport where they shoehorn. You know, England cricket team have done it for a while, trying to shoehorn players in.
Yeah. We're talking cricket. You're talking cricket on the finest fanzine of rugby league, and you're talking cricket.
I was
Behave yourself.
On Sunday. It's
I don't care. You don't talk about cricket.
It's a great game.
On a Tuesday night.
They're a great game.
Meg, we've just lost half the viewers. Deary me. What are you doing, man? Shocking.
I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this next season anyway. So
anyway, ladies and gentlemen, next season here he is, Dickie Bird. Anyway, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe what I just heard. Unbelievable.
But Premiership, Test cricket, teams are guilty of shoehorn. I nearly swore then. Teams are guilty of trying to shoehorn players in instead of playing the best balanced side and bringing that player off the bench or whatever. Yeah. So
let's get back to some proper sport.
Have you got hockey on now?
I think I've got to be doing netball next.
Bit of lacrosse.
Tiddlywinks, the Tiddlywink Championship, right?
Oh, don't tell the BBC, that'll be headline sport tomorrow.
Absolutely. Albert Goldthorpe, 3 for Bell, 2 for Matauti, who had a good game, and one for King as well. George King, fair play to George King.
Yeah,
fair play to him. Well done.
Right, I think George King has been one of the most consistent players all season. Yeah, so he's had a great season, George King.
Solid, mate. I mean, it's for radio, but. What a player. Right, let's get on with it. Oh dear, right. Lee Leopard take on the Catalan Dragons. Good effort this one from Lee.
I hope he's not watching, mate.
I hope not. He's like, hello. Anyway, good evening, George. I hope you will. But yeah.
I love you, George, by the way.
Lee had a crack at this. Amone's try, a thing of beauty, no doubt. But how good a Catalan?
They look very, very good. They look very, very good on Saturday. But I did say that it's a cup hangover. Is it only 2 teams in the Super League era have backed up a Wembley win with a Super League win?
Yeah, get that.
Lee didn't play badly.
No, as the
played
game went
well.
on, as the game went on, it went away from him.
They were
Yeah.
fatigued. You could
But
see.
the thing, but here's one for you, mate. And I know we've got a lot of Leaf people who watch us. Lee now been beaten twice by Catalan and twice by Wigan this season. And as the playoffs, don't get me wrong, doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if they go in the playoffs and turn them over. That doesn't matter. But as we sit here now, the two teams that are above them, of course, Saints are above them as well. They've done well against, but two of the teams that are above them, and you'd expect they're going to meet at least one of them at some point in the playoffs if they do well.
Yeah,
they will go into. You know, they've still got to pay the Pies last game of the season. That could change.
Yeah,
yeah. From Catalan, 2 defeats from Wigan.
Yes, it is. Do you know? I don't think Lee would worry about that. To be honest, I think Lee have had a season they could never have imagined of having.
Yeah,
and yeah, it would be lovely for the fairy tale to go on for Lee fans.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's 3 defeats to Catalan. Somebody's just correcting me. You're right. It was 3. Sorry.
The fairy tale may still go on. We got to remember that this isn't just physical tiredness the week after a cup final win.
It's emotional.
It's emotional. You as fans, you've gone to Wembley and you've seen your team win. You go to the next game and you have very little emotional investment in it because you're shattered.
Yeah.
And I remember back to when Warrington beat Saints in 2019. They went to Salford and got nilled.
Yeah.
Lee put up a good performance here.
Yeah.
And Catalan were just too strong on the day.
Yeah.
It's a hot day.
Mate, you know, I thought May and Pearce, mate.
They Tyrone May. From what I've seen, that was his best game for Catalan.
But I'm Pearce. Yeah. I can't remember a game where Pearce has played that well. Pearce was really good. Really good.
But look at the weather. It suits Catalan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Pearce was quality. May was quality.
If I'm a League fan, I wouldn't be too concerned. Lose the next game. No. And, you know, but whatever happens to Lee from here on in, for me,
hell of a season, mate. Hell of a season.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll still be.
If the Lionesses hadn't got to the World Cup final, they would have got BBC's Team of the Year at Sports Personality of the Year.
Yes, and do you know what? They might still be in with a shout with that as well.
Could well be, but you know, it's a massive, huge success story, and it is one that if it wasn't rugby league, would be on the front pages of every newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. No, absolutely. I mean, rightly so. The Albert Goldthorpe Piercy got 3, but then after that, it's real head scratching stuff. 2 for Whitley, 1 for Davies. I mean, how Tyrone May doesn't get in that game. And
I thought Amoni was deserving of at least a point.
Amoni really good. Absolutely really good. Really good, mate. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I do not know. Every week now, I'm like, what is going on here? Well, it's just frightening.
Yeah, if I'm being honest with you, Dave, I was sitting in the press box at Headingley on Sunday, and you get a bit scared sometimes. I think some of them haven't got a clue about what they're talking about, to be honest.
Well, you heard it here first, and you know what? With points like this, you know, I mean, JT Morris there saying McMeekin was good. He was. Busquets was good as well. Busquets was good as well.
Did McMeekin get sin-binned?
Don't you worry about that. Garcia had a good game.
Did McMeekin get sin-binned though? Yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
He did. No, he's got a big telling off.
I thought he and McAlorum got. I thought him and McAlorum.
No, it was McAlorum did. McAlorum did, I think. Right, we then go to Leeds against Warrington. Of course, Leeds now 2-1 up against Warrington in the series this season. Dufty, here he is. I mean, that is very reminiscent of the Charlie try earlier in the campaign. Absolutely outstanding. I'm not quite sure why we're going as fast as that he's going at this moment in time. We'll take it back. Seems to be on go quick that. But yeah, Dufty outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Dufty was superb. Dufty was superb.
Cameron Smith was superb as well.
The best 2 players on the park, Smith and Dufty.
Yeah. Walters, that flat ball, there's no stopping that. Really good. No. Now, I do apologise profusely. In the sheds and in the team, I'm going to give one away here. I questioned the Delaney announcement. George Delaney was in the team of the week, the official one for Super League. Oh dear, and it was Sam Walters. So I do apologise in advance. It's Sam Walters that I felt
Yeah,
should have
Sam
been in
Walters
as
was
opposed to
superb.
Delaney.
This was a
Um,
fantastic try.
Brilliant try, mate. Brilliant try.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
outstanding. No,
fantastic
Dufty.
try.
And they don't show the one straight after this where, again, we go
Oh,
through and all Walker's got
all
to do.
Ratchford had to do was pass to Ashton.
Well, to be fair, mate, Danny Walker's got to catch that ball, and Daniel know that. He's got to catch the ball, and he's in. He's in.
The Ashton pass was easier.
Yeah, yeah.
It was easier.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
no.
I can see me there waving, and you know.
Yeah, Alex wasn't bothering waving back.
He never waved back once.
I saw that. Didn't even bother, mate.
Hurt and
Didn't even
upset by
bother.
that.
Alex Sharp saying that James Bentley was outstanding. Had a decent game.
Yes, he was. Yes, to be
I
fair,
agree.
James
He had a
Bentley had
decent
probably,
game.
from what I've
Yeah.
seen, his best game for Leeds all season.
Yeah, yeah, of course they can look forward to that next season. Oh no, he can't. He's probably one that's going to be leaving. The bus will be arriving to take them all away. But anyway, look forward to that, Alex. I'm only joking, sir. But more tries, more tries.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're on one
Warrington-
today. You are.
I'm just having a bit of fun, mate. Warrington kept coming back, and then of course
Yeah.
these two. I mean, the defensive line here, Warrington. Look at the defensive line. Look at the defensive line. I mean, you can say it's, that for me, you're trying to do it yourself, lads.
Yeah.
Ashton doesn't need to come out there. You
No,
know,
and
George
Curry.
Williams. Yeah, I mean, it's all and that for me at the moment
Oh,
is where
that asshole, blimey.
he's forward, yeah. But you know, Warrington, we know Warrington's got the strike, but they've got to sort this defensive line out.
Yeah, I mean Ben Curry is. I mean, but this pass, my word, if you can't see that's forward, then you know you've got to give your head a massive wobble.
Just Steffi in the chat saying he's looking forward to watching Dufty and Ashton next week. I didn't realise he was going up to Hull. Good lad. I didn't realise he was going up to Hull. I think you'll find it's 2 weeks, Steph, that you're joining myself and Reggie at Wire for the Casper game. Ticket already bought, sir. We'll see you there. But yeah, Cameron Smith, outstanding. Bit fortunate. This is outrageous. Look at this. That is outrageous.
Yeah. I don't know how he gets that ball away. I really
Mate,
don't.
You know us, we call it straight on Super League Raw. Yes, we support Warrington, but that is a thing of absolute genius and quality right there. In fact, it's so good. I'm rewinding it. That's worth the entrance fee alone. That's skill personified, isn't it?
Yeah. You can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
As much as I can complain about the forward pass, that is something I cannot complain about. That's genius.
Absolutely beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Of course, Warrington weren't finished. Nice to see Matty Nicholson. A good little dink through there this time.
Matty Nicholson had a great game. He took an absolute massive crack to the head.
He did
in the first half, and was superb.
Maybe Josh needs to not kick the ball clean more often, because that was probably one of his best rubbers this season. Ball now coming across to the
look at this.
It's so close. And do you know what? And I think Alex has got to concede this as well.
To be honest,
just pick that up and put it in.
To be honest, I thought Dufty was offside, so I don't think the try would have been given if he'd got it. I think if you rewind and pause it, I think Dufty's just in front, and our friend Mr. Thaler would have absolutely delighted to go into the video screen for that one. But I think Dufty is just offside.
No, mate.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
From how I was watching it, I'm kind of diagonal.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was in front. Maybe not.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
He'd have sensed it up as a no try, and it wouldn't have been given. So
probably not. But rightly so on this one. The Albert Goldthorpe did go with Cameron Smith for 3 points.
He was absolutely.
He was outstanding.
Incredible.
Williams got 2, which I sort of see. Dufty should, but again, no Dufty. I mean, this is the madness.
Dufty should have got points.
No Dufty and no McDonald. So it was 3 for Cameron Smith.
Williams was good, but didn't.
He was good, but he wasn't
spectacular as far as I
he didn't play as well as Dufty, and he didn't play as well as McDonald even. And Paul
even
Vaughan
Matty Ashton. Paul
Vaughan got a point. I mean, I'm just, as I sit here now, I'm just like, wow. How does Matt Dufty not get points, and how does McDonald not get points? I just do not know. It really is an head scratcher. Anyway, they're the highlights, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you've enjoyed those ones. This is the league. Fascinating stuff. Catalan Wigan there sitting top of the pile, outstanding stuff. Catalan, if they win, we'll talk about the predictions in a minute. Just to let you know, only put the Fans Forum ones on today. I do apologise for that. So I'm going to let them run for a couple of days before we take the final poll for the Fans Forum. So I'll probably put something on probably Thursday night in terms of the Fans Forum predictions, how they pan out. Catalan win on this weekend. It's fair to say I think they then go on to win the Shield. That's a fascinating game. But if you look at Warrington down, I mean, I personally now think Huddersfield are gone. Mathematically, you would say, where are you getting that from? It's still only, but of those teams above them, I don't think they can claw back. And you look at the points deficit as well. I don't think they can claw back on two of those teams above them that are already on 22. I think Warrington, Salford, are already on 22. I just don't. I think Huddersfield's season is over. I'm sorry, Huddersfield fans. That's just the way it is. I think you're too topsy-turvy. In the same way, Warrington could drop out. They could.
Is it 5 games left?
There's 5 games left. Warrington desperately need to win against Hull. Against we'll talk about the FC Warrington game in a minute. They desperately need that. If they don't beat Hull FC, I have real fears for Warrington as well. I have to say, Leeds are doing what Leeds are doing. Salford really stirred it up this weekend because I think nobody fancied Salford to do that. Huddersfield, they have. They've got the spine back. Salford are going to have something to say, and it's a massive game between KR and League, which we'll get to in a minute as well. But I mean, at the moment, you just couldn't pick 2 out of them because they're all inconsistent. You just couldn't pick 2, could you?
I think the top 4 are fairly certain.
They're done. They're in. They're in.
It's that Warrington to Hull.
Yeah, I agree.
And it could be any one of those, any 2 of those.
I agree, mate.
And I think this is brilliant. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, mate, it's the best season. We've done this. It's our 3rd year doing this.
Yeah.
So we've been incredibly tight to the whole thing for 3 years. Even beyond that, I can't remember a season that has been as entertaining and has just got stories written all over. I mean, if Wigan would have beat Catalan, the League Leaders Shield's still on. It's mad. And if Saints go and win at the weekend, Saints will still fancy themselves for a home semi-final, and that'd still be on. Yeah, so you just look at the whole thing.
5-6 weeks ago, it's Catalan Lee, it's Hull, it's Salford are up there, it's Hull KR are up there.
Yeah.
It's in fact, Catalan have been the most consistent team
100%
throughout the season.
And probably deserve it.
And had their rough patches.
Catalan probably deserve it. I think on the balance of the first 22 games, in terms of, points are points. Like we said, Wigan have won dirty. Saints have had a couple of games where they've, I think, as a neutral in terms of those 3, I think Catalan have played the better brand of rugby.
Yeah, they have.
This Catalan season than those 3.
Yeah, and when you think that Catalan have lost 3 times, if you grew the cup to Warrington,
yeah.
That could very well have been. They could have very well have sealed the League Leaders Shield now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting. I mean, look at the bottom, and I say I think Wakefield will probably go down, but they're only 2 points behind Castleford.
Mate, I'll be honest with you. The worst thing now that can happen to Castleford is that they think the job is done. Yeah, believe me, it ain't.
Get complacent.
Because of those 2 teams, in terms of the games that are, in terms of the games that are still to come, I would think Wakefield are more, based on what I've seen over the last 6 to 7 weeks, I would back Wakefield over Castleford in any game against other opposition as a better chance. Castleford for me, even against Wakey, they weren't great.
Yeah. No. It was a poor, as you say, it was a poor game. But they could string 5 wins together. Castleford only need to lose one of the next 5 games.
I mean, if Castleford win 1 more, that's it.
I think so, yeah.
So Wakey desperately now need for Castleford to not win another game all season. I think we're at that point.
And then Castleford play Warrington. Well, there you go.
Well, they do. I mean, they've got Saints, then Warrington, then Hull FC, then Wigan, then Leeds. I mean, that's a tough run for Castleford. So, you know, as you look at those 5 games, you could see Castleford losing all 5 of them very easily. You could.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, and this, you look at Wakey, Salford away, tough game. It's a tough game. And on paper, you fancy Salford. Look at where Salford are in the league. But Salford, you know, every now and again this season, they've gone missing. You know, they have gone missing. And
if Salford had got the spine again this weekend, then you've got to say Salford.
Yeah, but let's not forget, I think it was round 5. Wakey went to Salford and lost by a point.
Still lost.
They still lost. You're right. They still lost. Then they've got Saints and Catalan and then League. You can't see much there. So for me, Wakey have. I say that though, they did beat the likes of Wigan. You know, they've got it in them. It's fascinating stuff. It's fascinating stuff. It's what's making this season.
That's why we love the game.
That's why we love the game. This season has been brilliant, and even now, there's arguments for either of those two going down. There's arguments from anyone from FC up to Warrington being in the playoffs. There's still an argument that the league leaders shield is still up for grabs, mate.
Well, it is.
Just remember what I said at the start of the season. New name on the trophy. That's all I'm saying. I hope
you're right, and I hope that name is. Well, let's move on.
Let's move on to the team of the week. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. The Super League Raw team of the week. And like I say, I do apologise. I don't really want. It's not Tom and Monet that I'm talking about. It's Sam Walker. But here we go. It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 22. Here we go again at fullback. Is this a wind-up? No, it's a Widdop. Gareth Widdop showed yet another glimpse of his quality against Trinity. Despite some suspect moments at the back, his attacking prowess could not be questioned. In this one at number 2, making it 16 tries for the season with a typically executed efficient brace, is Mr. Tommy Makinson. 100% try to appearance ratio for Tommy this season just shows how vitally important he is for the Saints. At number 4, Nene E-I-O, and on that farm he had some steps. E-I-E-I-O, he beat fire with a step here and a step there, here a step, everywhere a step. What a player and what an individual performance. And number 3, it will be the man who was on the mark with the boot, of course, Mr. Mark Percival. His combination with Makinson is one of legend. Lovely execution on the right edge once again, but also another 4 goals taken into a season average of 84.6% with the boot. At number 5, well, if Greg joined Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, he will pick the most ruby red and juicy apples from the tree and put them in his pocket, just like he catches a rugby ball and scores tries in Super League. Mr. Excellent in try execution. And number 6, it doesn't need to be the 4th of May for the force to be with Tyrone May. Robins fans will be licking their lips, and the Leopards fans will be perhaps thinking, what if Tyrone was once again unplayable and on form against the Challenge Cup winners? And number 7, well, if May tenderised the hearts of the Leopards, Mitchell pierced them with the most complete performance he has put in since joining the Dragons. He was like a Rolls Royce on a field of Fiat. If he can maintain this form, can anyone stop the Dragons? At number 8, oh, it's Big Tom. Big Bear Tom. For 5 weeks in a row, a Super League World record. Tom Amone is our number 8. How did Delaney get the call by the official team? This is the difference if you're watching. 1 try, 6 more tackles, 3 busts, 1 clean break, and 91 more metres. Super League panel, not fit for purpose. At number 9, on D23, there was nothing dire about Bradley Dwight's performance against the Cherry and Whites. This was him at his best, not since 2022. How we've seen him terrorising teams from dummy half like this. At number 10, Walter performance by Sam Walters. Oh yes, his 3rd appearance of the season and his 2nd try against the Wolves. Sam has the world at his feet in rugby league and can only get better as long as he doesn't overdo it with the pie eating in Wigan. At number 11, well, unlike the stone that gave up Excalibur, Super League Sam Stone is made of sterner stuff. Since arriving from the Leopards, Stone has gone about his business under the radar, but in this one he rose his head above the parapet. At number 12 is Sione Matautia, one of the few Super League players who average over 100 metres per game, and he recorded another 153 in this one. In a team full of stars, it's easy not to appreciate this man, but we do at Super League Raw. And finally, it is the quality. Cameron Smith continues to battle Harvey John Asiata for the number 13 in the Dream Team this year. Smith was the clear man of the match for Leeds, and they will be praying that no injury befalls him as they continue to try and sneak into the playoffs once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your team of the week for round number 22. The team of the week for round number 22 is in the bag, and I know what you're going to say, Greg. So,
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
I thought you liked a nursery rhyme, sir.
I'm, I'm saying nothing, sir.
Oh dear me! My personal favourite was the Garden of Eden with Greg Eden. I thought that was quite nice with Juicy Apple, but that's by the by. There's the team. Good to see so many different shirts. Nice to see Sam Stone in there. Nice to see Sam Stone in there. Had a great game.
Well, we've praised him most of the season. To be honest, mate, I use the word solid quite a lot. I've used that word quite a lot this season, but he is, and maybe Westerman might have pushed Cameron Smith a little bit,
and Bell, and James Bell,
but there's not a lot of argument with that team. Brad Dwyer.
Mate, he was brilliant
next season. Who knows?
Mate, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant this week against Wigan. Got to give him his due. But no, and Tom Amone, 5 weeks on the bounce, and
he's an absolute
mate. His figures are absolutely ridiculous, and I mean,
if he's not in the Super League dream team, then I'm going to give up.
Well, mate, he has to be, and
if he and Asiata are not in the Super League dream team,
I don't know about. No. I mean, I think Asiata has been class, but because of this controversy around the tackles, and
don't care. There's nothing wrong with this tackle
I don't care. But this is rugby league. Maybe this is rugby league. I mean, we've just talked about Albert Goldthorpe points. The Super League Raw Man of Steel ones, they're not even being published now, so they can do whatever they want in terms of who gets the Man of Steel.
Lee beat Saints in the semi-final. Paul Wellens detracted from the fact that they got beat by Lee in the semi-final by highlighting two perfectly legal tackles that just unfortunately injured players. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with the tackle. They weren't head high. They weren't cannonballs. They were perfectly legitimate tackles. And if the rugby league outlaws that type of tackling next year, we may as well tie ribbons to the shorts of players next season, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that tackling technique. And I'm sick of hearing it.
Just to give Mr. Amone his rightful, his rightful pat on the back. I'm not going to read everyone to you, but I'm just going to do meters. So round 18, 165. Round 19, 142. Slightly down in round 20 with 116, but he did have a try and assist that week, 5 tackle busts and a clean break. Last week, he got 156 meters in the game, and this week another 165, and that is his 3rd Super League game on the spin where he scored a try. I mean, it's just absolutely.
He has got to be in the dream team.
Frightening, mate.
Has to be. And if he's not, it's an injustice. He has to be in the dream team.
I've always enjoyed, as somebody who's played the game, you've played the game, total respect for the people who do that job down the middle. And by God, has he done phenomenally well this season. Absolutely incredible. Right, there's your team of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And just clarity. Yes, I talked about Delaney in that, and I also talked about Delaney in shares. Just for clarity, ladies and gentlemen, do apologise for that. Like I say, I've been up against the time. It was Walters. Now, again, Delaney, absolutely got no issues at all. George Delaney, long term, I think he's going to be a superstar. What he's achieved this season, he's tender age of 19, going up against the big lads down the middle and doing a sterling job for Saints. You've got to tip your hat to him. However, team of the weeks should be done not because of sentiment. It should be done based on fact. These are the facts. Delaney versus Walters. Walters scores a try. Delaney doesn't. Walters made 14 more tackles. Walters made 1 more tackle bust. Walters made 1 more clean break. He offloaded the ball 2 more times, and he made 60 meters more than George Delaney.
Wigan have got a great signing.
Great player, and these team of the week should be accurate. I'm sorry, but they should be accurate. And the amount of times we see the Rugby Football League, whoever does them, put somebody in, and you're like, how does that person get in there? Oh, hang on, they scored a try. Whoop-de-doo. Or it's like, no, in those type of positions, it's about, are they punching holes in defences? What are they doing? And I'm sorry, I like George Delaney, but he should not have been in team of the week this week.
It's about the job that you put on the pitch to do. If you do that well, you get in team of the week. You're a
100%.
winger and you're scoring tries. That's your job.
Absolutely. So,
So,
2 brilliant weeks for Gary Schofield. He's had
Wow.
2 absolute belters, and he finds himself with a nice little 7-point cushion now.
got a cushion there, hasn't he?
He got 17 points last week. The week before, 13. That's 30 points in 2 weeks. Done him no harm whatsoever. Myself and you took 11, and the fans for him only took 6. They've been in dire
Maybe we
form.
need to get Gary Schofield on and he can
Well, absolutely.
give us his secret.
Steph saying that Walters is a future England international. Absolutely.
Oh, nailed on. Absolutely
Couldn't agree
nailed
more.
on.
Right, so let's get into some predictions whilst we've
Right, we go.
got a few moments. Here we go, starting with Salford against Wakefield. This is a game Wakefield have to win. There's no doubt about that. They lose this for me. I just don't see in the last 4 games where they're going to get those 2 wins. This for me, Mr. Applegarth is probably looking, and sensibly, he's probably looking at it going, if we're going to get 4 points, Wakefield, OKR. That sensibly, that's what he's going to be thinking. That's not to say he couldn't upset the apple cart by beating Saints Catalan Orly. But, common sense, looking at it, that's what he's going to be looking at. If they don't win this, he will see that as a hammer blow for their survival chances, and rightly so. As for Salford, a win in this one just cements their position more in the top 6 and keeps them moving in the right direction. Gary Schofield sees this as a home win, 9-17 in the favour of Salford. I see it going to Salford. I actually think, like you, I think unfortunately Wakey's bubble has burst. Yeah. I'm gonna go Salford 9-17. Where are you going?
I think Wakey will be stung, and I think they'll want to prove a point. Okay. But having said that, and I think Salford may well go into this game with a little bit of complacency. I don't want to kind of say that lightly, but I'm going 9-17 Salford. I think everybody expects maybe a blowout from Salford, but I think Wakefield will turn up and Wakefield will want to prove a few points. I think they'll still lose, and I think Salford. I think 9-17 Salford myself. I really do.
Well, we're all going the same. A lot of love for Salford in the chat. Varying from Steve Massey going only 1-8. The vast majority are seeing it as an 18-pluser. A couple going in there for 9-17. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me come Thursday night if the fans form don't go Salford by either 18+ or 9-17.
Yeah, I was tempted to say 18+, but I just think that's an easy prediction. Salford 18+. I think Wakefield will be stung, and I think they'll fight, but I think Salford 9-17.
Yeah, I agree. We then come to this one. Castleford taking on St Helens. This will surprise you. Gary Schofield seeing this as a Castleford win, 1-8, which you could have knocked me down with a feather on that.
Yeah, unless he's got some inside information.
Well, he's done it a couple of times this season, hasn't he? Because if you remember, he backed Wakey a couple of times when we knew we were both looking at each other going, what? But yeah, in fact, I'm going to check that while you're having the chat. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think Saints had a relatively straightforward game at the weekend. I don't think it will be as straightforward as some people think. I think 9-17 St Helens. I don't think Castleford are going to win. I think I think they've got the Blake Costin factor with Widdop. That I think Blake Costin, as I said before, took a lot of pressure off Widdop, and he had a good game the other night.
Yeah,
but I still think unless Saints have got major injury doubts, which I don't think they have.
No, I don't either. I'm second guessing
myself.
Yeah,
I'm going 9-17
because I've been up against it. I'm just second guessing myself. Did I read that right? Let's have a quick look. Did I read that right? Yes or no? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he does. He fancies it. Yeah, he fancies him 1-8. Could have blown me down with a feather on that. Could have blown me down with a feather on that. What did you go there, mate? So apologies.
9-17 St Helens, mate.
I've done the same as you. I've gone 9-17 St Helens.
I'm just checking on social media to see if Saints have got any injuries.
Not that I've not heard of much. I think
No, I
Bachelor
can't
might.
say.
I think Bachelor. I think I heard something about Bachelor. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Right, it's the repeat of the Challenge Cup final. Hull KR at home taking on Lee. God, it's a long time ago, isn't it? Since round 3, and Lee at Lee went to Hull KR and won that last-minute job with Charlie in the corner to get the first win of the season. That's a long time ago now. 2 from 2, well, 3 from 3 now, including the Challenge Cup final against Hull KR, are the Lee Leopards. Gary Schofield sees it as a 1-8 for the Leopards. I think Leopards bounce back on this. I'm going 9-17. Lee, where are you going, mate?
I think this is probably the hardest one of the week to call, if I'm being honest.
Right.
I think Hull KR will be desperate to prove a point.
Yeah.
Having said that, I thought Lee played really well in spells against Catalan, who are the best team in the comp this year.
Yeah.
And I think it being really, really close, but I see Lee pulling away in the last 10, 15 minutes. Okay. I see Lee 9-17. I've got to admit.
Right. Okay.
But I think it will be close. I think KR might build up a healthy lead early doors. I think Lee might come back into it, and I think they'll win 9-17.
Yeah, there's a lot going either or here. Freddie McGilvray, Lee 1-8. Alex Sharp sees it KR 9-17. Kev Wobble, KR by 14. Steffi's going KR by 1-8. Does he know something we don't know? Maybe. Lee by 10 for Darren Soletico. Great name. Ryan Birch, 9-17. Joel's to Hull KR. Joel's going Lee 9-17. So yeah, a lot of conflictors there.
Yeah, go on.
Wender Wayne Murphy, a little bit of a stat. We like a stat. Lee undefeated in Yorkshire this season.
Well, there you go.
Well done.
This could be a blowout for Hull KR, a blowout for Lee. It could be Golden Point. There's a thing. Could very well go to Golden Point. Don't be surprised. But if I have to put my neck on the line, I'll say 9-17, Lee.
Well, the league doesn't lie, does it? And I think that Lee that extra week just to get themselves back steady. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Right, we come to the Saturday game, massive game. This one, Hull FC taking on the Warrington Wolves. Again, 1-1 in the series. Of course, Hull FC got the better of Warrington at Magic Weekend. If you recall, I'm sure you do. Of course, Warrington put a big score on them at I nearly said Wilderspool there. The HJ
God bless Wilderspool.
I'll tell you what, if it was played at Wilderspool, mate, I fancy us. 34 points to 6. And of course, they beat us 30 points to 18 at Magic. Very similar to what I said a moment ago about Wakefield. I think Warrington have to win this game.
Yeah,
this is the season for me. If they don't win this game, I think the slide continues. They have to break at some point. And with what's on the horizon for Warrington, yes, you could argue they've got Castleford at home, but they've got Saints in those fixtures down the. They need. I think Warrington need 3, possibly 2 might do it, but 3 would do it. 3 would get them into the playoffs. 2 might do it, and this is one of those games for me. Based on the fact they're 8 defeats now from 8 in the league, I think they need to win this. I really, really do. I think if they win this, they probably back up against Castleford in 2 weeks' time. That then gives them, 2 wins from 2 going to Salford away, which again would, with 2 wins behind them, a bit more confidence in the team, puts them in with a shot at that one before Saints at home. To have any chance against Saints, any chance for me against Saints. Saying that though, one of the best performances in this really poor run of form was Saints at home. So, it's just, they have to win it for me. I've been backing them for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to back them again. I'm going to go 9-17 in the wire. Gary Schofield, he's gone FC by 9-17. Where are you going?
Like I say, against Leeds, there were seeds of recovery. And they were really, really unlucky.
Yeah, I agree.
To lose it. I'm sure Leeds fans will agree. That pass sticks, we go under the sticks, the game's over in the first half.
Yeah.
The last minute fumble by Dufty, we win it. If we'd have beat Leeds, I would have been confident that we would beat Hull.
Right.
I think now that Warrington are in a pressure cooker.
I agree.
They've gone through the mill. Confidence is shattered, absolutely shattered. Hull is not an easy place to go.
No.
And you know, we've not won many times there.
No.
And I think the pressure that Warrington feel in that they have to win this game will be their downfall. And I'm going for Hull 9-17. And I hate to do that. I hate to do that. But I have to be a realist. And I think Warrington will not finish in the top 6 this season.
Right.
And
you heard it here.
That's my prediction. I think the pressure cooker, fueled by the start we had and fueled by the controversy and the whatever's happened in the rest of the season, the pressure cooker, the lid's about to blow. And I think, you know, we may well have Sam Burgess here by Sunday if the rumors are true.
That ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I think the pressure cooker is just a little bit too much for Warrington at the minute. And I think they'll be looking to kind of a fresh start. And I think next season, I think they'll lose 9-17.
Well, there's not much love for Warrington. There's a bit. Joel Scholes saying 1-8, wire Steph Sale 1-8, wire Kev Worrell saying wire by 10. After that, it's very much FC, ranging from 1-8 to 9-17. Nobody's seen a blowout for either side in this. No real surprises there, I wouldn't suggest. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Then this is going to be mouth-watering fair on Saturday. I think it's going to be a belting game. Of course, Catalan have done the number on Wigan twice already this season. Really, that blowout at Magic where they were just sensational. Tom Johnson that day.
Performance of the season from Catalan. That was superb.
And the 22 Wigan got, if you remember, they scored a lot of those points at the back end when the game was gone. 46-22, flattered Wigan, believe it or not. A more tighter affair earlier in the season, 18-10 at the DW, going the way of Catalan. I think Mane Mao scored that.
I think you might be right there,
Yeah, if memory serves me right. He had I think did he get a brace that night? I think he got 2, actually, as I sit here now.
That's back in the midst of time.
Knowledge, sir. This, for me, is going to be tight. I think it's game on. I'm still going Catalan though. I think Catalan win. They win this, they win the Shield for me. I just can't see them not winning the Shield if they win this game, and I think they will. I think they'll get over the line against Wigan. I think it'd be tight. I do. But based on history this season, I can't see Catalan not winning by 2 scores. So I'm going to go Catalan 9-17 because, you know, winning by 8 at the DW, blowout at Magic, what they've just done to Lee. Don't get me wrong, yes, Lee backing up after Challenge Cup.
Lee were probably the best team they could have played after that Challenge Cup final.
Absolutely, but home soil. You know, they're on a good run of form. Yeah, I'm going to go Catalan 9-17. Gary Schofield sees it the same way. He sees Catalan 9-17. You know, we mustn't forget that they are on a 4-game winning streak. The Catalan Dragons in Super League. Wigan are on a 4-gamer as well. They're both on a 4-gamer. I just fancy Catalan. What are you thinking?
I'm going to make a prediction.
Go on, mate.
Wigan Golden Point.
You're going 1-8 the pies.
1-8 Wigan Golden Point. If it's Golden Point, I want a bonus 5 marks.
Behave yourself.
Getting greedy. I think this is going to be really, really tight.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to go. I think this is, as you say, they're both on four games unbeaten.
Yeah.
I don't think Catalan go more than 4 games unbeaten.
Mate.
I think they have a history of 4 or 5 and then they lose.
It's good knowledge, mate. It's good knowledge. They got to a 5-game winning streak at the start of the season. They've had. Yeah. Oh no, actually, no, it's not good knowledge. My apologies. They've actually been on a 7-game winning streak this season.
Are they 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever?
Yeah, 6, 7.
Yeah, whatever. It's single figures.
There's a step song in there somewhere. Go on, carry on.
Wow, steps. Let's do it. That is your challenge for Team of the Week. Steps.
Get steps ones in. Outstanding. Yeah, my boom boom baby. It could be boom boom baby. Boom boom baby's driving me crazy. That's what it was, wasn't it?
That
Yeah,
was
it
the
does.
steps.
5, 6,
No,
7,
that was
8.
the
It
Wenger
was,
boys.
mate. That's knowledge for you. 5, 6, 7, 8 by steps. That was, mate.
Wenger
Absolutely.
boys.
No,
Wenger boys was
mate.
boo, boo,
That was
boo.
we like to party. Anyway, we digress. We've done cricket. Now
Yes.
doing this as well.
Oh,
Well, let's
it's
crack
like,
on.
it's like being back at Smith's in the 90s.
It is. Ooh,
Yeah, I'm going Wigan 1-8, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a golden point.
a golden point
Yeah.
to the Pies.
There's
Well,
a bold prediction.
well, yeah, and again, fascinating in it. Looking at the chat here, Steph going drop goal the other way. Wigan by 1-8. Freddie McGilvery, Kevin Ogden, Cats by 1-7. Barry Lamprell, I hope I've said that right. Catalans 1-8. Ryan Birch, he's put Turner's back on after getting over the embarrassment of not being top of the fantasy league. He's going Ryan. He's going Catalan to 17. But very, very close. Very, very close
Yeah.
either way. Right, we finish with this little one on Sunday. Leeds Rhinos go to the Huddersfield Giants. You know what? Nothing would make me smile. So, you could see Huddersfield doing it, couldn't you? You really, really could. Leeds go into this one, of course, off the back of that win against the Wire. Do you know what? Listening to Joel, listening to Uncle Freddie, I think Huddersfield are gone. I really do. I'm going to go Leeds. I'm going to go Leeds 9-17. Gary Schofield's gone Huddersfield 1-8. Where are you going, mate?
A difficult one. In other ways, this is as difficult as the Catalan Wigan game to predict.
Yeah.
And the Hull KR League game. Warrington were the better team on Sunday. I'm not saying that because I'm a Wire fan. They were the better team. It should have been over at half time. They didn't take the chances, and fair play to Leeds. They came back. They took the chances. They won.
That's what Leeds do.
I think that is a massive confidence boost to Leeds being second best for most of the day and still winning.
Yeah.
Huddersfield will want to prove a point after the Salford game. But I think Leeds are going to edge it.
Go on.
18 plus.
You're going to blow out?
Yeah, I am. They clicked in that second half, Leeds. They found something that I think they've not had for a while.
I think Smith, McDonald.
Yeah, good. And if they carry on with that kind of mentality, I hope not. I hope it's a closer game. I've got a lot of friends in Huddersfield. We both have.
Well, mate, again,
I think Leeds 18 plus.
Again,
and
mate,
I think
in the chat,
this is where Leeds' attack on the top 6 starts.
A lot in the chat going either way on this one as well. Kevin Worrell, Huddersfield 12. Graham Parrish, Huddersfield by 10. Darren, Leeds 1-8. Nicola Burton Wood, Leeds 9-17. All over the place. I'll tell you in closing, again, shows what sporting characters that we are at Super League Raw. Really pleased for Luke Hooley. Remember that game earlier in the season? I think it was KR. He had an absolute nightmare. Really pleased for Luke Hooley. And he took a knock and came back on, didn't he, on Sunday. And really pleased for Luke Hooley, a kid that, has got, again, hopefully a big future in the game. And
but you know what? That's the measure of rugby league players.
Yeah.
They might fall down, but they get back up again.
And it says a lot about
the sport.
It says a lot about rugby league fans that having beaten my team, I will still give the lad a rap. Good lad. Well done. Carry on and good luck for the rest of the season. Right, this is your sport coming up on Sky, starting on Friday. The Dolphins taking on North Queensland. Then it's, of course, Craven Park, LKR taking on League Leopards. On Saturday morning, a bit of women's rugby league for you there. Parramatta takes on North Queensland.
By the way, have you been watching the women's
mate,
NRL?
Superb,
mate. If you've not, guys out there, if you've not watched it, it is absolutely superb. The standard is magnificent. It really is. Please invest record it, invest your time in watching it. It is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It is good, mate. Eels against the Cowboys. Then it's the Dragons against the Titans. Then it's over to the men. The Raiders take on your Brisbane Broncos.
That'll be a game. Greg. That'll be a game.
And then Catalan Dragons taking on Wigan. 5 to it's a 5 to 6 kickoff there. Is that 5? I think that's 5 to 5 our time, isn't it? I think that's local time, is it? And that can't be because it's advertised to Sky, so it must be a 6 o'clock kickoff.
6 o'clock kickoff, yeah.
Newcastle.
Don't do 24-hour clock.
No, don't do 24-hour clocks with you. Newcastle, of course, then take on the Cronulla Sharks on Sunday. So a feast of rugby league. Don't forget, those people who are watching us, grand final. Get your tickets for the grand final. Meet us in the Piccadilly Tap on grand final night. Come on, get your tickets. 14th of October. Got to be done on it. Got to be done.
Yeah, maybe we should get Piccadilly Tap to sponsor us next season.
Get the Piccadilly Tap to sponsor us. That'd be a good idea. As you know, done out the love of our hearts. We hope you've enjoyed another night of chat and merriment around rugby league, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next Tuesday night to look back at all round 23 action, all the talking points as per usual, and game of the week should be available on YouTube probably Thursday. It'll be certainly well before, and there's no doubt what the game of the week is. It has to be Wigan going to the Cattle and Dragons. So
good lord, yes.
It will be up on for you to watch certainly well in time for that game. Keep your eyes peeled on the forum and on our YouTube channel. Gregory, very good evening indeed. We hope we'll see you next week, mate.
A pleasure as always, guys. Stay safe. See you soon.
Indeed. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes your top performers of 2023 thus far.